It's my entry into the Asalieri's Wheneverthehell review competition with my very special subject, Doctor Who, an adventure in space and time. Yay! So what do you get when you cross over a Canadian idea maker, the first BBC female British producer, and the first BBC Indian director, Doctor Who? Who'd have thought? For those of you who have been living under a rock for the past 50 years, Doctor Who is Britain's longest running science fiction series. 50 years and still going strong. Don't screw it up, Capaldi. Think of Doctor Who as Batman. The strongest weapons are their minds. Their outfits have both changed quite a bit since the 60s, and they both have incredibly large man caves. Only the Doctor's is bigger on the inside. That's what she said. For the 50th anniversary, the BBC released An Adventure in Space and Time, a drama loosely based on the creation of Doctor Who and the tenure of the Doctor who started it all, William Hartnell. Originally, writer Mark Gatiss pitched the idea back for the 40th anniversary, and the BBC said no. And again for the 45th, and the BBC said no. And finally for the 50th, and the BBC said okay. Yay! Adventure in Space and Time starts with Sidney Newman taking office as the BBC's head of drama, pitching ideas to modernise the BBC's stuffy programming, signifying the winds of change. Coincidentally, change is the ongoing theme of the entire movie, from producer Verity Lambert's triumph as pushing against the glass ceiling of the male-dominated world of the BBC, director Waris Hussain overcoming racial treatment as the BBC's first Indian director, and of course, William Hartnell's own personal struggles with his health and him watching his co-workers move on with different ventures while trying to hold on to the role that he created and loved. Overall, the story stayed true to the historical recorded anecdotes about the creation of Doctor Who, with some artistic license to add drama here and there. All of the main actors bore uncanny resemblances, both physically and the mannerisms of the actual people they were portraying. When they flashed the photos of the actors and the actual people side by side in the end credits, it almost looked like they were one and the same. They even recreated scenes from various episodes of the classic Hartnell series that looked seamless, even down to the minute bloopers. The acting was spot on and genuine. One of my favourite scenes was when David Bradley managed to perfectly convey the emotions of a scene with just a look in his eye. And for all the classic Who fans, the whole movie is peppered with references and cameo appearances from the various surviving actors and production crew who had worked on classic Who. Of course, not everything is perfect. For example, the opening music. It felt more like something in a Harry Potter movie than Doctor Who. Then there were the attempts to show racism and sexism back in the 60s. It felt overly diluted. Yes, this is the BBC after all, so we're not expecting nasty, un-PC words, but the politeness of how they showed racism in the 60s was almost condescending compared to the reality we know. Next is Hartnell's iconic "I shall come back" speech.
One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back.
The recreation was a bit of a letdown. It's understandable that recreations will always be inferior to the original, but I felt that they used too much artistic license in the scene. They played it too dramatic as opposed to the original, when the speech sounded more hopeful and comforting despite being sad.
One day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
You could compare both versions in the movie yourself, as they show both the Hartnell version of the speech at the very end of the movie. And if you got the DVD, the extras were a little lackluster for one of the 50th anniversary specials. It would have been nice to have a more historical context or even a documentary from the time period, as opposed to the look-back mini-documentary by the surviving actors. So whether you're a classic Who, new Who, or no Who fan, this is still a must-see movie that I think holds the spirit of celebrating Doctor Who's 50 years more accurately than Day of the Doctor.